Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things. In this episode, you will hear a very interesting conversation with my good friend Ramkumar, who's a product director for Salesforce, specializing in security products and solutions. You will actually hear his different dimensions of being in engineering, being in business analysis, and now in product world, and how he has traced the evolution of technology also in the last 3 decades, from uh, two-tier architecture to the cloud-based systems to data analytics and to the SaaS solutions that his organization supports. He also shares his wisdom of doing additional certifications, skilling yourself through various technologies. Listen on. Welcome to the Software People Stories, Ramkumar. Ramkumar is a director of product management for Salesforce for the past 2.5 years, and he's been a veteran in Cisco systems. Without much further ado, welcome, Ramkumar, to the Software People Stories.
Hi, Gayatri. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the conversation here. Thank you.
Excellent, Ram. I don't know if you know this. We just hit the 200 episode mark. So I'm so excited that, you're, I think, after the 2 centuries of podcasts, you are probably in the third phase of our podcast. So we normally start this question. What got you started in software? And what was your earliest memory when it came to software? Was it in engineering? Was it when you started dabbling in school, or post-engineering? How did that happen?
Sure, Gayatri. So my current role is Director of Product Management at Salesforce. And my journey is about 20 plus years. And it started out in BITS Pilani as part of my engineering. And then I passed out from there and got into software, because I think the journey started with I think that the time at which we passed out was the boom time for software industry, and that's when email started happening, internet boom started happening, and I think there was this huge excitement about the potential of this technology, and I was excited right from day one when I saw that, oh, we can do this, we can do that, we can send emails. In fact, I went ahead and created like 10 email accounts for myself. So I was excited in software from day one, because I felt that there's a lot of potential in software. There is a lot of things that can be created. So by nature, I like building things, but I'm not very creative. But I find that software as a medium gives me an opportunity to build new products, create an impact on customers. And so I started learning C, C++, and I worked in Bangalore for a couple of years, then moved to US, where I was there in a startup for a couple of years. And then I joined Cisco, where I was there for a long tenure in different roles within Cisco. Then moved back to India, did my MBA from IIM Bangalore, and did a lot of great work in different organizations like Cisco, Pega, and now Salesforce. So that's my journey in a nutshell, Gayatri.
Wow, I love that. I agree. My earliest memory was on the software, on the email ID that I created, and it was in fact created by default by my college. And then first one was created in Hotmail, and it's a very interesting times indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, when I look at your journey across domains, it has also been in collaboration software, in security, in ensuring that systems are really well provided for, right? I mean, is that by accident, or is because if you look at it today, collaboration software is staple. while security is getting more and more important and critical as we start using cloud-based systems. How did that kind of a career arch, if you will, make it happen, Ram?
Sure, Gayatri. So when I started in Cisco, I was in collaboration as an engineer, and we acquired a company. We started developing it. I started in release 1.0 of the product, so that gave me a lot of opportunities to contribute to the product. And I was there till almost release 10.0. So for the next 7-8 years, I saw how products get evolved. Over a period of time, we captured market share in the industry. It became $1 billion business. So I learned a lot in the process, and the skills that I learned were actually transferable because it's just building products, and I could relate to different areas. And when things moved to the cloud, right, the collaboration software moved to cloud, I had to learn cloud, and that's when I started looking into that. And I was fascinated by the impact the cloud can bring in, right? So with the big players now, Google, Amazon, and um, uh, Microsoft, right? So there's a lot of excitement there. And then I learned that area and moved into cloud technologies. And I was also fascinated by data analytics and machine learning. So I went ahead and learned that because that was required for my project. So that helped me a lot. And right now I'm with security. I didn't have much of security background before I took up this role. So I took up this role because I thought that I could learn something new, and security, as you said, is an exciting area to be. It's constantly changing, it's evolving. You get to learn a lot, and you need to think ahead of the attackers, right? That's where I find it interesting, that you need to always be alert, and there's always a challenge waiting within security. So that's how the journey evolved. It basically happened as a result of how the technology trend happened in the market and where the need was.
Yeah, I can clearly see that. In fact, as you were speaking, right, it starts with the email collaboration, moving into cloud and moving into machine learning or artificial intelligence, and then um, really getting into the framework element of security. Um, Talking more about software as a service, right? I know you are right now a Salesforce, which really disrupted the whole market by bringing ERP software into cloud. How does it translate into people like you and me who are working in software? How does that kind of from an on-prem to a cloud? How does that translate on a day-to-day basis, or is it the same that we are doing, just that we have to think bigger picture all the time? How different is it?
Yeah, so on-prem and cloud has a lot of differences, but fundamentally it's the same feature getting delivered from the cloud, from the internet, basically. So for example, Gmail is one of the first cloud-based SaaS services which provides email service. Prior to that, we had email servers. Every organization had to deploy their email boxes, mail servers, and all mail sits in their own environment, which need to be managed, deployed, maintained, and all of that. So with cloud, right, you don't know where it's coming from. It's just there in a data center owned by somebody else. So I think what they say is cloud is somebody else's, your computer, but somebody else manages that. So SaaS is a big transformation, and Salesforce, as you rightly said, is one of the pioneers in that. So we moved the CRM to the cloud, and we are right now the number one market player on that. And so SaaS in general is transformed, right? So with the cloud, it's easy to pick. It's like a mall. You go to a mall, you pick up all these things from one single place. It's cloud has become like that. So you go to any of these cloud providers, they have everything, database to content providers to email services, you name it, you have it in the cloud, right? So it allows organizations to focus on their business logic, letting the cloud providers do what they do best in terms of managing infrastructure and services. So I find this transformation is just getting started. There's a lot of growth happening here, and it's really exciting time. I feel fortunate to be part of this time period that we are seeing all the transformation in terms of cloud, AI, ML, mobile. internet, security, right? All of it is actually exciting. And the cloud is at the core of all of this. And we are going to see more such transformations in future.
Yeah, and that is really the crux of the whole thing, right? When change continues to happen, either are you able to go with the wave, or are we getting overwhelmed? Um, uh, Tell me more about how you have adapted yourself in learning, Ramkumar. See, I know you mentioned about multiple technologies and you learned along the way, and not only that, I also see your trajectory from a developer, a team lead, director of engineering, and now being a director for product engineering, right? Or more in the product management side. I mean, how do you keep learning, and how do you keep that in the crux of the whole thing, right? It does it overwhelm you, or is it exciting and you continue to stay with it? And any tips for the listeners?
Sure, Gayatri. So I think fundamentally, I like technology. I'm passionate about technology. So I would say you need to be interested in what you're doing. So you automatically feel good about doing it and you can continue learning that area. So I feel that technology is great because of the impact that we can make using it, and also because it constantly changes. It's not like you learn and you're done with it, right? You need to learn, you need to unlearn certain things and learn new things, right? So every 2 or 3 years, there's something new that's always happening. So that's definitely exciting to me. And I would say for people who are getting into technology, if you're really interested in it, this is the best place to be. And you can learn a lot. And what you have learned in college will be useful for a few years, and then you need to again relearn. So the skill that you need to have is to continue learning. So because in college I learned Pascal, Fortran, which is not used now, right? So now then we learned C became C++, Java, now Python, right? So you have machine learning. So it continues to evolve. And my journey has also evolved as a result of all of this. And I was an engineer writing code in the beginning, and then I was good at it, but I felt that I need to understand more on the business aspect of things. So I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. It was a part-time MBA because I didn't want to leave my job and switch career without knowing what's going to happen. So I kind of took a safe bet and did from IIM Bangalore, which was close by in Bangalore. So I thought, let's do these two in parallel. Let's see how that is. So after doing my MBA, I felt that I need to use those skills. So I looked for opportunities within Cisco, and I got one. I transitioned into the role. So I moved from a people manager in engineering to a individual contributor doing PM role within Cisco. I liked it, so I kind of continued doing it. So it's I think I would say people need to try out, because you need to understand where your strengths are, and sometimes you may not even realize where your strengths are. So unless you try new things, learn new things, and explore different kinds of roles, you may not know what is your best fit, or which ones you will enjoy more. So I enjoy my current role as a PM because I feel that I can add more value. There's a big difference between moving from engineering to PM. The good part is you still understand the technology part, so you know how it's built because you're coming from engineering. That definitely helps a lot. But from a PM standpoint, we always have to be a representative of customers. So we kind of are working in a space where it's more ambiguous. So that's what is challenging. As an engineer, requirements are given, you start developing and delivering it. As a PM, you need to kind of define the product. So that's where the excitement is, as well as the challenge is part of it. So and you need to partner with a lot of folks, stakeholders. Product management is a role where you need everybody in the organization to be working with you, and you need to explain to them why you're doing it, what is in your mind, and partner with them and get the product out in the market and feel the impact of the product on customers. So I think for me, my biggest strength is in building together as a team. That's where you kind of be a leader and getting everybody motivated towards that vision, and then seeing it in impact on the market. When your feature is getting developed by thousands of customers and users, I feel great about it, and I kind of make sure my team also feels great about that. So that's my transition from a engineering role to a PM role. So everyone needs to try out and see if that's the right fit for them.
Wow, I have so many follow-on questions, Ram. I think it's a very interesting part where you said you wanted to move from people manager to a PM role and equipped yourself with an MBA. Basic question is, would anybody who's interested to try product management, do they need to go through an MBA or a product management sort of a course before we get that? I think does that lay out, put you yourself in a better foundation? How does that help or enable?
I would say MBA is a nice to have. It's not a must have to become a PM. What is must have is some of the skills, right? Skills and the mindset and the soft skills that you need are definitely must haves. If you have those soft skills already, if you are passionate about customer use cases, right? Talking to customers and making an impact or defining the product feature, because as an engineer, sometimes you feel that, oh, can the product not be designed better, right? Even when you're using a product in your daily life, right? So you kind of think, oh, can it not be better? They should be doing like this. So that's where your PM hat comes in, PM skills of improving a product. So then you know that you have the skills of a PM. Then with the right kind of trainings and frameworks, you can still become a PM. You don't need an MBA per se, but an MBA helps because it gives you the confidence, gives you the network of people, and even for organizations, right? So they prefer MBAs for a PM because they feel that they have the right kind of trainings, but it's not a must-have in my view.
Okay, got it. So in that sense, it has sort of amplified you or accelerated you towards product management. But it would have taken a little longer, but you would have anyway reached there when it comes to.
Yeah. So MBA gives you the credibility, I would say, just like any other certification, right? So it gives you credibility to the market. It gives you the confidence, gives you certain frameworks in place. It definitely accelerates. It helps a lot. But it's not a must have. So you can still do great PM without having an MBA.
Nice. Ram, when you talked about moving from a people manager to a product management world, one of the first things I used to be asked, not in the initial part, but maybe 5, 6 years to the career. Now, question often we used to be asked that how many people report to you? How big is your team? I mean, this used to be a question for me till I took the individual contributor role in ThoughtWorks, right? It's almost about 12, 13 years. The constant question is how many people do you report to you? That used to be like the status symbol, so to speak. I mean, when I moved to a role of individual contributor, more of becoming a transformation agent, it means that you are always nimble. You're always, more in a space where you are influencing but not directly managing. And what I wanted to understand is, did you go through any vulnerable situations when you had to shift in this world, right?
Yes. So yeah, I moved from a people management to a IC role, and initially it was kind of tough because initially you feel that you have there are 20 people under you, then there's no one, right? So you can't delegate anything now, right? Everything comes to you. You need to get it done, right? So that was, and even as a person, right, you feel that you're kind of gone one level down or whatever, right? So, but I think. I always looked at it as a glass half full in terms of positive, that I'm doing a new role. And for me to learn this area, I need to dedicate my time on PM role, which means that I should learn the skill. So my focus was very clear that being in an IC role, I'll learn most in this area, and I can grow here. I can learn new skills. So it's, and also the impact that I'm making for the product in terms of defining the vision, the roadmap for the product, that gave me the satisfaction. The same amount of satisfaction I got when I was part of an engineering manager building it as a team. So it was a different kind of experience, but it was not less, I would say. So it was kind of it's different, but it's so I think it's something that you need to be comfortable with. You need to look at the value that you're bringing to the organization, right? It is defining the product, talking to customers, right? Helping solve problems. That's what the goal of organizations are. And as long as you are in the path of adding value, either as a people manager, motivating team, or as a product manager, defining the product, I think the satisfaction and happiness is going to be almost equal, I would say, between both parts.
Excellent, Ram. I think it's just a matter of different roles are needed for the organization to flourish and thrive. And earlier, there used to be a team of sales and engineering. And right in the, I mean, I'm talking about traditional organizations. Now in software, I think more and more, if you think about it, product management plays that pivotal role in really powering the innovation engine, and then adapting to the market conditions, right? I think that is really
Yeah,
where we are also moving towards.
yeah. I think product management as a discipline has grown a lot, especially in India recently, and it's a exciting place for folks who are interested in this career option. And yeah, and since there's a lot of technical background that we have, it's easy for us to uplift and transition to a PM role, because we understand the product. Now we need to understand the customer side of things, so that you can do a fit of, okay, where the product is, how do we take it to the market, what are the gaps, how do we get the maximum value out of this. So that's where the PM role comes in.
Switching gears, right? Ram, how about your own learning? I know learning, most of the time we keep talking about learning is 10% from the books and the rest of it is all experiential. Uh, any inspirational stories there you want to share?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to have a lot of great managers, and I've learned a lot from them. I don't want to name them here, but I've gotten great managers. I've seen them in action, how they drive meetings, how they protect the team when there's a failure, and then give credit to the team when there's success. Right? Those are some of the values that I cherish a lot, and I try to inculcate some of those values in the way I drive teams. And I'm passionate about people management, because I feel that that's gives me the satisfaction, that because I can teach somebody, I can motivate them, I can help somebody build a great product. So I feel great about this. And then in terms of experiences, I've seen my managers who have protected me when the release has not gone well, for example, right? So they would go out and say that they wouldn't point fingers. They would take the blame. Whereas when there's a product launch which is successful, they would give full credit to the team. So those are some of the instances where I have been inspired by what they have done, and even the way they kind of represent the customer, talk to the customer, how the driving roadmap, being confident in meetings. Some of those qualities, I've been lucky to have such people in my career, and I still are in touch with my peers who have done this.
Awesome. I think that learning and unlearning is a lifelong thing. If you have, you got to keep at it, right? And I also see you have moved locations. You've been primarily based out of India, then moved to US, then came back. Any decisions you had to take for this, or did it happen organically?
I think it happened accidentally, I would say. So the period that I started, it was a .com boom, and so we kind of moved to the US after a couple of years, and be part of the Silicon Valley culture for 6+ years. And then after that, I felt that need to return back to India. We moved back for some personal reasons, and it was a mixed feeling initially, because it's hard to settle down and you start comparing things from in the US with India. But after a while, you feel that it has its pros and cons. And so right now, I feel pretty good about the move that I made 14 years back. to India, because I think India has grown a lot, and there are always opportunities, right? And in different areas. So you have different kinds of opportunities in US. You have different opportunities in India, and I can be with family here more closely. I can celebrate events with my family. I can meet my friends here. So I think those are things which I may not get to do in the US. So, but the transition was initially for the 6 months, I would say, was tough comparing things. But after that, it's now completely settled down. And in fact, I keep visiting US at least once a year. I meet some of my friends there, and have meetings and workshops and roadmap discussions in the US with customers and all that. Right now it's kind of like a global culture, right? We're all working remote, so location doesn't really matter at this point. So what you bring to the table in terms of value to the organization, what you learn from the organization, that's more important for me at this point. So
Nicely put, yeah. I think it's becoming a global village, right? Um, when something like Ukraine happens, the whole world is shook up,
yes.
and it is becoming smaller and smaller, thanks to all the software and the ability to work with each other moves, right? And how about your own team structure? Is it global team, or you primarily work with the teams in India or the location, or how does that happen, Ram?
So my team, my PM team, product management team is completely based out of India, but we have a lot of engineering teams and other PM teams who are distributed globally, mostly US West Coast, and we're part of the Central Security Organization. And Salesforce, as you know, is a big organization. We have more than 70,000 folks, and security is growing pretty fast. So we are hiring. I do have a PM position open. So just in case your listeners are interested.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a global organization. So there are meetings where you'll see folks quite diverse, different regions of the world joining in, and product development happens at different locations, and sometimes we may not even realize where folks are, right? Because we have morning calls, afternoon, evening calls, right? So and the folks joining from different regions. So it's a global culture, and being in an MNC, I think I'm pretty comfortable with this. And the work culture is flexible, so we kind of manage our work-life balance, and that's how it's done now, Gayatri.
Oh, nice. I hope some listeners come and apply in your company based on this conversation, Ram. Um,
Sure. Mm.
it's been a great conversation, Ram. Any tips that you want to share, or any words of wisdom based on your career journey for people who are just joining, or maybe a few years into their career? What would you like to share?
So I would say focus on what value you are adding to the company, right? How you are learning. And I think initially you would start comparing salaries, comparing on-site opportunities. I would say focus on what you're learning, what you're contributing to the organization. That's where that'll automatically catch up to the salary and the visibility that you will get in the organization. So if you are contributing value, learning a lot, that's the right place to be. Right. So the rest of the things will follow, and you will need to enjoy your job, right? So more than anything, and make sure you look at career as a long-term journey. It's not a short term. So you're here for 25, 35 years. So you have a strong foundation in technology, make the right connections, trust people, be friendly to them, be nice to them. It's a small world. So you will end up working with the same person in a different organization. So I would say these are some of the things that I've followed. And good luck to folks who are transitioning or building their career in software industry.
Fantastic, Ram. Thank you so much for your time today. And it's been lovely to hear you go through your own learning in exactly the same way as overall software has also evolved. And lovely to hear the decisions that you've taken also. And any last words that you want to share, Ram?
Thanks for having me, Gayatri. It's been great talking to you as well and your listeners. So I'm glad I've listened to podcasts many times, including this one. It's great to be in a podcast. I feel good about it, and I hope I have given you something useful as part of this podcast. And yeah, nice talking to you again, Gayatri.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ram. Appreciate it, and wish you have a great day. And thank you, listeners.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.